It's been quite the interesting beginning to the holidays. Out of the 7 years we've called this place home, this season seems to be the strangest. Of course, no matter how out of the norm the weather has been, all of nature's inhabitants, like clockwork, know exactly what to do, taking my cues from them irregardless of the 60-degree daytime temps. The activities around the house are congruent with what I would imagine those of the inhabitants of a snow globe to be. The girls and I usually spend quite a lot of time in the kitchen on a regular basis, but during this time of year, Fanny is most certainly upped. Most of our time spent in here is done so baking desserts during the holidays. We like to pass out cookies to the neighboring homes, and the kiddos always like to gift them to all their teachers. That said, countless cookies are inevitably baked during Christmas time in this house. We definitely make them during other parts of the year, but during Christmas time, we've actually never made Mexican wedding cookies. Lola and I were at the grocery store making dessert plans. I was trying to think in the festive parameters, and for whatever reason these came to mind. I thought, well, they kind of resemble little snowballs, so we can make that work. If you've never made them, I'd highly recommend it. They're super easy, and in my opinion, they're actually one of my favorites. I will link a recipe in the description box below if you're interested in making them.
You think that's good or does he need more?
Alright, let's talk about how I got to the design of our Christmas theme this year. So it all started with this rug and its burgundy counterparts that I honestly could have done without. And then it came to this wallpaper, which happened to display parts of it with the same undertones. The camera isn't picking up the colors properly, but you get the idea. And as I was searching for artwork to exchange out, I found this, which contained the same tones. Honestly, oddly enough, the colors aren't my favorite. That said, I was faced with a choice to either pretend they weren't there or make the most out of them. I wasn't quite ready to commit to the color scheme, so I went around the house and brought out pieces that would be complementary to it. Because I still wanted to introduce this color to my Christmas decor but didn't really want to commit financially just yet, I opted for affordable ways to bring it in just in case I chose not to use it again. I did so through candlesticks, ribbon, and wrapping paper. I will say I did bring in a new set of stockings and one pillow as well. I knew I wanted to offset this cooler tone with a more grounded rust red. Last Christmas, I went for a very natural, neutral theme, and I knew the following year I would bring in that color. So with that in mind, I set out to find a few decor pieces that had that plum color as well as a red with some brown undertones. Much to my surprise, I found exactly that. Even though I'm bringing in brighter colors to my palette this year, I still wanted to maintain an earthy feel. Bringing in natural textures like plants or these pine cones or even vintage stoneware can really help keep it grounded. And it's also fun to think outside the box when it comes to your decorations. You can see the artwork I'm using, for instance, isn't actually Christmas per se, but I think that in my case, with the look that I'm going for, it really supports that kind of mood and feel. Point is, you don't have to stay within certain parameters when it comes to what direction you choose to go with your holiday decor. So there was a time not too long ago when fresh was the only answer as far as I was concerned when it came to greens. There's something to be said about the undeniable scent. It's perfect imperfection. And of course, nothing beats the natural real deal. We're still all about a fresh Christmas tree, as every year we go to the same tree farm and pick out the very best one our family agrees on. But as far as garlands are concerned, I'm a recent faux garland convert. I really prefer faux garlands nowadays because they're a lot easier to manipulate, and I find that I'm able to convey the vision that I have in my mind a lot easier with them. Not to mention the fact that they don't shed, and when you are swagging them in as large a space as I'm planning to this year, that makes for a lot of cleanup that I don't have to do. As far as attaching the greens, I've tried every attachment possible under the sun, and I find that pipe cleaners work the most efficiently. They don't damage whatever it is you're wrapping them around, and they come in a multitude of colors, so they can be easily hidden. You'll know that last year I was unable to find more of this garland, and this year, unfortunately, I wasn't successful either. But if I'm able to find what I would assume would be a close match, I will link that below. I do have some secondary options that I've purchased, and I'll link that if I find them available as well. The problem with really good greenery is that it tends to go first. So as I stated in my last video, I'm going for a very classic feel, almost a Charles Dickens approach. I want it to feel as if you're almost stepping back into the past, so I'm trying to go as authentic as possible as far as the way it looks. I'm normally not one for symmetry, but in this occasion I am trying to get the swags as close to the same size and spread out the exact same width apart as possible, so I'm counting the spindles and swagging them in between while attempting not to make myself too crazy over the process. Because I can never find garlands long enough, I do have to piece them together, so I always make sure opposites are connected at their ends. And while we're on the subject of greens, I do every once in a while like to mix in some dried fresh greens. This here is a type of eucalyptus. I'll link it if I can find any more. I just really like it because it gives it a bit of a textural difference and some color and depth. Okay, so let's talk ribbon and bows. Going back to a bit of the mood or theme of my decor this year, when I think of the Dickens atmosphere or Dickens Christmas, I think luxe, I think luxurious, velvets, long swooping boughs of garland, just a whole more is more approach. With that in mind, I knew I wanted to get some sort of crushed velvet ribbon. I cannot tell you how many spools I have ordered and taken back just to find that it wasn't the right color. Ultimately, I settled on this one. Would it be my first pick if I had any color of choice? No, but it was the one that I thought would fit the best with what I was picturing in my mind, and of course with what was available. The camera is making it read a bit more pink, but it's a pretty good match, and importantly, it's not clashing with my other colors I've brought in. Again, I'll link it as well if it's still in stock. Another reason I'm really liking these bows is that they are covering up completely the pipe cleaner. It just makes for a very clean look. If you are not a big fan of a bow, it would be really pretty to have a long strand and tie it in a loose knot and just have the rest of the ribbon flowing down beneath it. Well, friends, I hope you'd enjoyed our Christmas series thus far. We are just getting started. We've got so much more decorating to do, DIYs to make, and recipes to cook. If you've got any suggestions or anything you'd like to see this Christmas while we carry out and go through our holiday series, just let me know in the comments section. Join us again next Saturday at 9 a.m. Central Time. Can't wait until then, but until then, we'll see you soon, friends. Bye-bye.